take you now to Kazakhstan, where two NASA astronauts and one Russian cosmonaut are about to take off. They are taking a Soyuz spacecraft to the International Space Station. Let's listen in.
Cook and Alexei Ovchinin now on their way to the International Space Station.
10 seconds, the parameters are nominal. This is Burlock 1, everything's
Good first stage performance so far. The Soyuz delivering 930,000 pounds of thrust from its 4 boosters and single engine. The first stage of the Soyuz measures 68 feet in length, 24 feet in diameter, burning liquid fuel for the first 2 minutes, 6 seconds of the flight.
Everything is nominal on board. The crew is feeling great. Seconds, the vehicle is stable. Copy all. This is Burlock 1. Everything is nominal on board. The crew is feeling very well.
You're hearing some of the English translation now.
And we've been listening to NASA TV narrating the launch of a Russian Soyuz rocket carrying 2 American astronauts and a Russian cosmonaut. So far, so good. It looks like it's been a successful launch so far. CBS News space analyst Bill Harwood joins us now from Merritt Island, Florida, for his insights. So, Bill, does it look as if this is a complete success, or is it still a little early to tell?
Oh, no, the launch phase is over. It takes about 8 minutes and 45 seconds for the Soyuz to get all the way to orbit, for the spacecraft carrying the crew to separate from its booster, deploy its solar panels, and then set off after the station. That has all happened by the book, no problems at all. They launched on time, got to orbit with no problems at all, and now they're setting off on a 4-orbit rendezvous. They should catch up with the station in about 6 hours, and hopefully later this evening they'll pull into dock.
Now, that is a big relief because there was a failure to launch in October. What happened then, and what was different about today's launch?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And the commander and his co-pilot on this flight, Alexei Ovchinin and Nick Hague of NASA, they were on that flight back in October. And as you said, 2 minutes after liftoff, one of the 4 strap-on boosters with that Soyuz rocket failed to separate cleanly. There was a problem with a piece of equipment. The stage catastrophically broke up, and the abort system of the Soyuz instantly engaged and pulled the crew to safety. So they got to do it a second time here just 5 months later, and this time it went off without a hitch.
That must have been a harrowing moment. Thankfully, everyone was okay that first launch. Second launch is a success. How much was riding, Bill, on today being a success?
Well, you know, every piloted, every human space flight, everything rides on it. You know, if you lose one of these spacecraft, and certainly a crew, that'd be a major blow to the Russian space program and to the U.S. space program, because right now, the only operational spacecraft that can carry crews to orbit is the Russian Soyuz. Now, as you know, NASA's in the process of hiring 2 companies, Boeing and SpaceX, to build commercial cruise ships that will be able to launch astronauts from U.S. soil again, but they're not operational yet. So, you know, every time one of these Soyuz rockets takes off, it's absolutely critical to both countries' space program.
Now, Nick Hague got his second chance today to make the trip to the International Space Station, as you mentioned, along with another American, Christina Cook, and a Russian cosmonaut. Once they get there, what will their mission be?
Well, they really have to hit the deck running. It's a very, very busy first couple of weeks. There's 3 people already up there, so the crew will expand to 6 with the arrival of this Soyuz. And at the end of the month, NASA's planning 3 spacewalks, pretty much, you know, within a week or so of each other, to install some new solar array batteries outside the station and to carry out some routine maintenance. So Christina Cook and Nick Hague on this flight, they both are going to be doing spacewalks, as will Anne McClain, who's already on the station, and David St. Jacques, a Canadian astronaut who's on the station. And interestingly, the second of those 3 spacewalks is supposed to be carried out by Christina Cook and Anne McClain. That'll be the first spacewalk ever carried out by an all-female team of astronauts. So a little bit of history, a little bit of trivia, I guess, coming up for that spacewalk, but a very busy period between their arrival later this evening and gearing up for these 3 spacewalks.
That is very exciting. Bill, I have a question for you, though. You mentioned it's going to take about 6 hours for them to get where they need to go. That's a lot of time. What do astronauts do during that time? Obviously, they're in a confined space. Are they working that entire time? Are they sleeping part of it? What do they how do they kill that much time?
Well, first of all, they get to enjoy the view a little bit. The rendezvous sequence is automated, but they obviously are monitoring their displays and controls minute to minute to make sure all of this goes off okay. They can certainly step in and take over manual control. And if 6 hours sounds like a long time for you and me to sit in that cramped spacecraft, but back in the day, this is a relatively new procedure. It used to take 2 days, and that is a long time in that cramped spacecraft. So for the crews involved, being able to do it in just 6 hours, that's a snap of the fingers compared to the old days.
Right. I imagine there's no Netflix up there, though, to kill a few
That's
hours.
right.
All right. Well, Bill Harwood, thank you so much for your insight.
My pleasure.
And we're going